What up, folks, and welcome to Kyber Culture, episode 101, with myself, Joe, and returning to the show, chat a little She-Hulk and a bit of House of the Dragon, is the bro Chris Melvin of the Geek Peak Podcast. So stick around for a chat. Make sure to follow us on social and YouTube and TikTok. We'd really love a sub and a follow on those, just trying to get those going. And if you like what you're listening to, please consider leaving a rating and a review wherever you get your podcasts. Not sure if you folks noticed, but there's a lovely song that plays before this episode begins. That song is our new intro music. So shouts out to Shade Tramp for putting that together for us. Really means a lot. Hope to have you on the pod soon. But before we get started, Chris, how you been, man? You're in Florida, so you've been through quite a bit. It's good to see you in good shape. You're in a new place. You're in a new pad. Congrats on the new house.
Thanks, man.
And those two things right there, like, you know, you're in Florida purchasing a new house, and, you know, if you read the news at all, like this timing, I want to hear about this timing and having to leave your recently purchased home. It's kind of insane, but please, what's been going on with you?
Yeah, so I live in Tampa, and I live very close to the bay, not the ocean. But that Hurricane Ian was supposed to make like direct landfall in Tampa Bay as a Category 4, and they were saying
Ian, man.
they were saying 9-foot storm surges, and my condo's on the second story, and it's right at 9 feet. So I'm like, bro, like my second story place is about to get flooded out. Like, please, God, no. And thankfully, it did not hit us directly. I didn't even lose power. Everything was fine when I came home. But it was just like such an experience because I didn't get, when I bought this place, it didn't come with storm shutters or any wood to put on the windows. So it was like scramble to Home Depot, figure out how to put this shit up.
Oh, like, man.
It was a lot. I've put up storm shutters for my family's home before, but I've never just done plywood over like big sliding glass doors. So that took a little bit, and it was like after the rain bands had started hitting us. So I'm just getting like blasted by rain, like coming at me sideways as I'm like holding up gigantic wood boards and securing them, which, I mean, nothing to drive home that you're responsible for a property, like putting up storm shutters.
Okay, so wait, hold on. So how many days after you officially signed bought the place that you had to leave it?
30, like
about 30 days,
right at 30 days. Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, it was in the first month of me having it, and I was like, shit, what was my flood insurance policy? Like, did I get flood insurance on the second story? So yeah, had me revisiting my insurance, my homeowner's insurance. But yeah, no, I'm really happy. Everything was fine. Unfortunately, a friend of mine's home was destroyed, and so we've been fundraising for them
through
the pod, and yeah, so that's been really successful for us to help them out. But that storm was crazy. It was like people across the state from where I lived were getting really, really bad wind and rain. Like a lot of people I know from my hometown, their homes were like flooded, or trees fell down on their houses or fences, or like pool screens. So it was crazy. But yeah, happy to be back in the house. Fully expected for everything to be like flooded out when I got back. So it was like quite a relief when I, came home and like nothing was damaged. It was a little surreal, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, damn, I literally just like went all in on this, and so I really hope my house doesn't just get absolutely schwacked right after I bought it.
Absolutely schwacked. No.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, dude, I couldn't imagine. Like, we were talking in the group chat, and just keeping up with what you were going through. I was just like, I cannot imagine. Like, because I've lived in California my entire life, and there's nothing that even comes close to where I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta pack up and leave because of fucking storms coming.
It was the big one. We had like, knock on wood here, but we had no other storms up to Ian. Like no named storms this year. It was like a really, really good storm season. We were like, oh shit, we might get through this year without a hurricane. And then boom, The mother of all hurricanes rolls right up in our grill.
The big one. It was like all year was leading up to this moment. I was like, oh no, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we don't get any more. I will say the one thing that it cut into for me this year was my spooky season activities, because I didn't get like an early start on watching horror movies and stuff like I normally do. So got a double time on that.
Got to put some time away for spooky season, of course. But you've been through like a few hurricanes being over there.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, I was born and raised in Florida, so probably been through like 20 plus hurricanes at this point. Some pretty intense, some that were like nothing. My family lost their home when I think it was like 2006. Maybe it was 2004. That's what it was. Hurricane Charlie, like we had a tree fall through the house we were renting.
Oh my gosh.
And so like that was crazy because it was like a tornado that touched down like behind our house and all the shit. It was just, so it was wild. But outside of that, like hurricanes really hadn't been a big deal in my life, like my adult life, until this one. And then I was like, oh, so this is what having skin in the game is. Got it.
Oh no. Well, glad to hear you and your people are okay. Thoughts go out to your friend. I'm glad you guys hit the goal for that fundraiser. That was nice. Yeah, good to see you're well and your house as well. That's good news. Anyways, super rare Sunday evening recording for me. Maybe for you as well. Do you ever record on Sundays?
Not really. Not normally.
Not really. Yeah, no. And it's fucking almost midnight over there for you, which is nuts. But we just got done watching the penultimate episode of House of the Dragon. So any quick thoughts?
Yeah. So seeing the power seizure in this last episode was wild. Like, can we go spoilers here? We're good on that?
Okay. Quick spoiler warning for episode 9 of House of the Dragon. All right, go for it.
Dude, the dragon, Rhaenys and her dragon rolling up at the end there.
That was the power move.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to see more Rhaenys badassery because she seems awesome. But yeah, I did like the whole like hunt for Aegon through Flea Bottom and everything. But I do wish there was like some more like combat, because everything just seems like next episode should pop off.
Yeah. I think there has to be like a high budget for this show. And it's like I think they're saving it all for the season finale, you know? Like I imagine dragons and fire are not cheap to make, you know, or make a convincing battle scene, you know? But no, I definitely wanted a little more action in this, but it definitely felt like the whole episode felt tense, you know?
Yeah.
But nothing like too, I mean, there's some shocking things, like the kid fight ring was pretty gnarly.
Jesus.
Some things are just absolutely ridiculous and just flat out funny. Like we find out Lara Strong is a feet guy. And like Allison's just selling feet pics for information, dude.
I could not believe that. When he first like was eyeing her feet, I immediately was like, oh my God, I think he has a foot fetish. I said that to my girlfriend when we were watching, and then he stops talking. She takes off the stockings. I was like, oh my God, he actually has a foot fetish.
He actually likes it. No way. Oh man. Yeah. You know, House of the Dragon, like it continues to, I said this on a previous pod, but I thought Game of Thrones had shocked me with everything already. Then House of the Dragon comes in, still doing pretty standard like Game of Thrones stuff, but then they throw like a fucking C-section at you, and then they throw in foot pics. I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, yes. I mean, I think the last couple episodes, every single one's gotten better and better. I think I might have liked last episode better than the 9th, but it's still just like the last 3 or 4 have been so good, like peak Game of Thrones good. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. My favorite part from this episode was all of the lords who stood against Aegon as king, and like just like seeing them be executed one by one, basically. And then that one guy almost getting out, like that scene of him trying to leave was so tense.
And then they just swooped him up, and then they hung him. Oh, jeez.
No games were played.
But yeah, no, the whole thing about Aegon was kind of insane. Like, I didn't think he didn't want to be king like that bad, you know, like just willing to hide out. I just thought about how it was crazy how it worked out like this, because like his name's Aegon and he doesn't want to be king, and then fucking Jon Snow is also Aegon, didn't want to be king. I'm like, okay, there's something going on with the name Aegon here. I don't know.
Well, Rhaenyra has an Aegon too.
Oh yeah, Aegon 3 or something. But I think book readers know. I've never read book, but I've read too much.
Sorry, Aegon 2 TOO. Aegon also.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? But honestly, you're not even off base probably, because there's got to be an Aegon 2 somewhere at some point.
Yeah. And I also got to say that Aemond looks like 5 years older than Aegon does, and Aegon is the older brother. Like, Aegon still looks like a teenager, and then Aemond is like a grown-ass man. Like,
I know.
What the fuck?
I know, really, he does, though. It's, like, kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, but no, this episode was cool. Definitely can't wait to see how it all pans out.
Alicent has been my favorite character so far in the show. Like, her, like, actress and everything, I think, has just been killing it. The adult one. Okay. She's got mad Cersei vibes, but like a more like pious version. And I kind of love the chaotic combination, especially when she's working with Larys. Like, I think she's killing it. I know everybody kind of hates her, but that's kind of why I love her.
I think, yeah. No, you make a good point. I feel like Cersei though, I like more of a layer of like evil with Cersei, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, Alicent just comes off as like, I don't know, like I think they kind of touch on this in the episode too, is that like she's just kind of doing almost like what she's told in a way, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, she doesn't genuinely I don't think she genuinely wants to do this stuff, but Cersei was straight up just like, don't fuck with me type shit.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I agree. I definitely love Olivia Cook as Alicent, and you know, the younger version was cool too, but yeah.
No, I'm a big fan. I think, it's really funny. My co-host Trent on the Geek Peak, he hates Alicent so much. Yeah. He's like, she's the worst.
You know, for me, like when I was going through this episode, I was like, Alicent's a fucking idiot. Like, he just completely misunderstood what Viserys was talking about, and you don't know anything about A Song of Ice and Fire, so it's like.
And also the fact that you're like trying to get people to believe that on his deathbed he secretly told you, like, even if it was something true, it seems so sus. Yeah,
it's like, I was the only one that heard. No one else knows. Yeah. I'm the queen, so my word is bond. And I'm like, dude. And people are actually falling. Well, I don't know if people actually fell for it, but they were just like, oh, well, there's the excuse. Like,
yeah.
Otto was straight up like, yeah. At least think like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of skeptical, but you know what? I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah, that's the game.
Yep, it's the game. Indeed, it's the game. Can't believe it's ending next week, but...
I know. I'm not prepared to be waiting for like a year plus to see it.
I'm curious to see how they will drag it out, because I guess the Fire and Blood book, my co-host Brian, he told us that this season of the show so far is actually only a couple chapters. It's not like the entire Fire and Blood book. Have you read the book?
I did a while back, but not all of it. I read like a lot more of the earlier stuff, like that was taking place before the Dance of Dragons. Yeah, so like the conquest, like the 1,000, I think it's like the 10,000 ships or something. Mm-hmm. Like a bunch of that stuff. But yeah, I didn't really get super into all of this. There's a lot. It covers like hundreds of years. So I'm interested to see like what exactly this show is going to entail in the totality of like the 4 seasons that they've announced.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyways, that's quick reaction to House of the Dragon. Now let's get into She-Hulk. So She-Hulk, the latest entry into the MCU, stars Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters. Mark Ruffalo is here as Bruce Banner for a couple episodes. Charlie Cox, Daredevil, here for one full episode, and kind of in the finale, which is kind of funny. We'll get to that in a little bit. But what do you make of this show? Actually, let me ask you this real quick. How many do you watch a lot of sitcoms?
Yes, but like not really ones with laugh tracks. But like, I mean, I watch like New Girl and Arrested Development, The Office, Parks and Rec.
Okay, so all the big ones. Like, yeah me too. Like, I've seen The Office, Parks and Rec, Always Sunny, 70s Show.
Oh, Always Sunny and 70s Show as well. Yeah.
One that I'm particularly interested in right now is Abbott Elementary.
I just started that one.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's like The Office, but just in a school.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. It's pretty funny.
So now put She-Hulk up against these. Like, were you engaging with She-Hulk as like a sitcom?
Kinda. I think like the biggest thing is there were parts that I did like about it, but I just didn't find it all that funny throughout. Like there wasn't a lot that had me like really laughing. Like there were parts here and there, but you know, it was more, it felt more like drama focused than like comedy.
Mm-hmm. I hear ya. So for me, and I mentioned this in the 100th episode of the pod, but I definitely had trouble engaging with the show from the jump. I'd say like through the first 3 episodes, I was kind of like, I wasn't engaging with it like how I wanted it to. And I think I kind of forgot that it was supposed to be like a workplace comedy maybe, or like a sitcom style type of show. So I kind of had to like, because, you know, I think Feige said that sometime in a convention, like, oh, this is going to be the MCU's like first workplace comedy or sitcom or whatever. Then I was like, okay, I like reevaluated and tried resetting my brain. Like, yeah. Okay, so I started engaging with like, okay, don't take it too seriously. It's a sitcom. It's supposed to be a comedy. And I started looking at it through a different lens. And even from the first episode, it kind of starts to be quippy. And like she talks at the audience and says stuff like, oh, you won't be able to focus on this fun lawyer show unless I tell you how I become a Hulk. And I'm like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Let's see if it's funny. Let's see if there's an interesting legal case and try to engage with those parts. Like, okay, is it going to be a comedy? Are the lawyer parts of it going to be any good? Go further down the show and it's like it's multiple cases each episode. Like she kind of just goes through something random. It's like a random adventure each episode. I thought it was interesting because that's kind of how most sitcoms are. You know, it's never like one linear storyline. It's always kind of just like it's like a day in the life, which is what it was. And I was like, okay, cool. That's what it is. Just found it like they were working with a lot of different genres here. And folks should also keep in mind that this series is 9 episodes, each one being maybe 35, 40 minutes max, maybe less. But like generally speaking, did you like it? Before we get into specifics?
So like the first 3 episodes for me, they didn't catch either. And it wasn't, I didn't really have any hype on this show going in, but I also didn't have any hype for Miss Marvel. And I actually liked Miss Marvel. I thought it was a really good show. So I went in like ready to be pleasantly surprised. Didn't really get into the first 3. The next couple though really started to like draw me in a little more. And I will say that the last 2 were really enjoyable to watch. I really liked the last 2 episodes. I wish the whole show had been more akin to the last 2, maybe even the last 3 episodes.
That's like interesting you say that, just because like the final 2 or the last 3, especially in the finale, they kind of talk about that. You know,
I know, but
it's
I
like,
think
that's what the Marvel shows do. Like the way they're structured, it's always the last 2, or there's always just one episode where it's like a masterpiece. You know, it's like this is like just one strong episode per season. You know,
yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like I'll say this. This is before we get any deeper into it. Like the episode with Charlie Cox, like independent of him being in it, which was great. Just the case that she took on with the freaking Ribbit guy. I want more of that. Like, yeah. Like I want more really ridiculous, stupid heroes. I mean, I guess Titania was kind of like that, like an influencer, like villain. But like, I wanted just more of these like really random superheroes that are, and like just misadventures basically. But like, I don't know, less as her, like navigating her life as She-Hulk, and more just like running into these random ass characters that like you never thought you'd see in the MCU, like live action.
It's funny. Like, I like how you said that you like Miss Marvel. And I will say this, like, as Miss Marvel, I think a lot of what Phase 4 is, they're just trying to blend like not just like the superhero genre, but of like other genres. So like with Miss Marvel, I kind of engaged with it as like a coming of age teen drama, which I think is like it really exceeds at that. you know, but then with She-Hulk, it's trying to be like a workplace comedy blended with superheroes. And I'm like, I think Miss Marvel succeeds at blending those two different genres together rather than She-Hulk. Like, I don't think She-Hulk blended them like too good together, you know?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, I totally get you. And like another closer example now is like Werewolf at Night or Werewolf by Night.
By Night, yeah.
Yeah, like that genre blending is like really, really effective.
And it's funny just because like something I read about online for people that are like really, really into She-Hulk, really love it because it's supposedly like one of the first Marvel properties that stays like really true to the source material. Have you ever read any She-Hulk comics?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either. So I'm like, I can't relate. But
yeah. That's
I never
cool, though.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great and I really liked that, but that also made me feel that, okay, well, if you don't have like a relationship to the She-Hulk comic, you may not appreciate it, or it'll probably be a tough sell for you, you know? And like, I feel like with all the past Marvel stuff, it's like you never really had to pick up a comic. And sometimes I would see people tweet online, it's like, some of y'all have never read the She-Hulk comics, and it shows. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, dude. You're probably talking to like more than half of the MCU fandom who's never even read an Avengers comic. You know?
No, it's true for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely like, I felt like outside of introducing She-Hulk as a character, there wasn't a lot of ground covered because it wasn't a super serious show. And therefore, like, outside of the last couple episodes that were really like, you know, finally showing what she was capable of and stuff, I think it was kind of just all like more fluff. It was fine. Like, I enjoyed it, but it was more of like fluff than actual substance. And so now I'm looking forward to seeing her in films and, you know, season 2. I hope they bring the show back. But it was like a good introduction. I think I'm about to go off on a tangent here, Joe. So
go ahead.
Just brace yourself. I think what I really want from the MCU, if they're going to keep doing these TV shows, like, I'm cool with origin stories that are like 3 or 4 episodes long. And like, you just like give me some like really good substantive character development. And then like, okay, that character is established. They can be in any property now. Like, I really want to see them do it for the X-Men. Like, give me quick X-Men origin stories of a lot of the main characters you're going to introduce. Don't like make me waste my time in like X-Men team up movies. I want to see all of them interacting. I don't need their backstories in those films. Like, split it off. It'll be good. Like, if you don't need the backstory, great, cool. We can just roll with it. Everybody's friends. They're all X-Men. They're on the team together. But if you want to know like every person and where they came from and what they went through to become the hero that they are, cool. We got that too.
I think something for me that you're kind of touching on here is, I don't think I liked the show overall as much as you did, because I kind of feel like the show, especially by the end, it feels like the show's existence is a little pointless. It's like you let me put it this way. So you probably could have introduced She-Hulk in a similar fashion, like how they did with Spider-Man and Black Panther and Civil War. And just like bring them in, like, you know who they are, give them a little background, and then you give them the project, like their own solo thing afterwards. Like, if I got like She-Hulk for whatever reason in a Doctor Strange movie, I would have known just as much about She-Hulk in a movie than I did from this TV show. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, like, it's like, I don't, yeah.
No, I get it. I get it, honestly. And I kind of had a turnaround opinion in the last couple episodes, because I really, even up to the wedding episode, I wasn't even a huge fan of that one. It was all right. I don't know. It just kind of turned a corner for me. I don't necessarily think the last few episodes redeem the show, but I do like where they're going. And I think it's like an interesting direction. And I hope they'll like push the limits a little further on that kind of stuff, because yeah, like saying that it was like a chaotic ending and being super meta about it was great. Let's see like more of that applied throughout the show to make it like really funny.
Yeah, I think more commitment to that ultra mega 16 wall break, like,
yeah,
would be hilarious. Like that's kind of like something I want, like what She-Hulk did in the finale, like literally just breaking out of the Disney Plus logo screen, which was pretty good. I kind of chuckled at that, and I want like Deadpool to do something similar,
to
where he kind of will reference like the Disney and the Fox deal and like just kind of make fun of that. Like that would be cool. Or I'll be down for She-Hulk to say something like that too, because there's a bunch of legal ramifications that go into that probably.
I would love to see those two team up. Actually, that's a team up I would absolutely be here for. That would be cool to see them interact. But yeah, okay. Speaking of the ending, like when all of the Hulk-sized characters were in that house before they like paused the show.
Mm-hmm.
I started laughing out loud because I was just like, this is so absurd. I love it. And then immediately after that, she's like, what is this doing it for you? And I'm like, I feel attacked. I feel personally attacked.
No, I was like, I couldn't believe it because it was all starting to happen. I was like, damn, they're really going for this. Like, it's really going to end like every other Marvel show. You know? And then sure enough, she like pauses the show, and then it was hilarious. I thought it was super funny. I wish they kind of just stuck with it because Hulk just shows up out of nowhere and like starts fighting Abomination. Like, oh, what the fuck?
I really liked that Kevin was like an AI too. I thought that was good.
The Kevin too, it had its like 3 little multicolored eyes or whatever, but I don't know if you noticed that he also had kind of like a hat brim on it.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, it has like a little hat lid on top of its eyes. It's go ahead and look at it. It literally looks like Kevin Feige. It's kind of funny. But I think one of the best parts of this was when Kevin says like, "Can you turn back into Jen like after we cut away from you?" Like, first the camera needs to cut away, and then you can turn back into Jen. And then he said like the visual effects team has moved on to another project. Wakanda drums come in. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. But the joke itself is kind of insane to me because like, especially after reading about how many VFX artists have come out and like said pretty much working for Marvel is a nightmare. Yeah. And then they just make fun of the VFX artists in this. I'm like, God damn, that sucks, dude. That sucks so bad. But
yeah, what did you think about Daredevil's introduction in the MCU? Well, outside, obviously he was in No Way Home, but like actual Daredevil, not Charlie Cox.
Okay, so this is definitely one of my positives of the show. Charlie Cox is Daredevil, of course. He's here. The only thing about this was there are a lot of times, especially in marketing, where they kind of focus on She-Hulk saying like she says that, oh, just remember whose show this actually is. You know, I feel like they really focused on throwing this out there to people. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but like, I'd be willing to bet that most of the audience is here because they know Daredevil is going to be in it. You know, like that's just the sad truth. Honestly, that's just like Marvel's fault for even involving him in the marketing in the first place, because like that would have been a very cool surprise. You know, it's like, why even let people know that Daredevil's going to be in this? Honestly, to me, it's just like, okay, well, we got to get some eyes on the show. You know? Yeah. So it's okay, let's throw this character that everyone knows is going to show up in the series, and like, you know, let's get people to watch it. I'm just like, that's kind of dirty. Like, yeah. And I feel like that's like a big phase 4 problem, is that like a lot of the projects just can't stand like by themselves, you know, like it needs a cameo. And I'm like, I'd rather not have like insane cameos. Like, crazy cameos are cool, but it's almost like an overused card at this point. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, they did this in the past Marvel movies, but now it's like the post-credit scene introduction characters for the past couple Marvel movies have all been ones that I did not know who the fuck they were. Yeah. We had Hercules, Black Knight, whoever the fuck Charlize Theron is playing. I literally at this point don't know. I've never even heard of most of these characters, which I'm cool with. I'm not hating on that, but you know, that mixed with cameos where they're like, oh, watch this show so you can see the cameo of characters you do know.
It's funny because it just makes me think about that meme. I know which meme like, I know you've seen this one. It's like Marvel fans will for real stay till after the credits for someone to say, it's me, Glorpo. I was just like, God damn it, dude, it's so true. You know which meme I'm talking about, though, right?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yes. It's so funny. Yeah, like I remember after, I think it was the Eternals, they had freaking Harry Styles and Patton Oswalt. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, God.
Oh, man. But anyways,
so Daredevil, back to him.
Back to Daredevil.
What'd you think?
I'm watching the Daredevil show right now. I'm just rewatching it. You know, it's still fucking masterpiece. Holds up. They literally hit all the classic Daredevil notes. Like all the best parts of his character from the series is in this episode. You know, got the hallway fights. You just got that classic Charlie Cox charm. I think they did make him like a little lighter, just slightly funnier. But I mean, he cracks a lot of jokes in the show too. He's not like super like broody all the time. But I think he, you know, similar tone in this. I mean, they make him do the walk of shame. I think that's probably the newest thing that we've never seen him do, you know?
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious. It's just like, bros for the streets. You know?
Yeah.
It's like just walking outside barefoot, just disgusting. But yeah, no, like I said, he doesn't seem all that different, and seems like they'll keep the same tone for him for his own Disney Plus show. And it just kind of seems like they're building up like Jen and Matt are going to be an item, which is interesting. I think that's kind of cool. Or she'll probably show up in some capacity in his show.
I'm cool with that. I liked his costume. I thought his moves were sick. I really liked Jen's dress that she had specially made. I thought that thing was sick.
Which one?
The dress she had made when she went to like that lawyer. Yeah, exactly. The gala, the recognition for her and every other female attorney.
The female lawyer of the year, and then it gets awarded to like 15 lawyers.
Dude, yeah. I was cracking up at that. I was like, oh my God. There was some really funny jokes, but I just felt like it started getting funnier towards the end of the show. I kind of thought the one guy who killed himself a bunch of times was funny, but then by the end of it, I didn't think he was funny anymore.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this got old quick.
Yeah, like so quick.
Let's see, what else? A big moment of the show was the Megan Thee Stallion episode. So this, for me, was probably the most entertaining part of the show to me. I think reading the discourse online about She-Hulk was more entertaining than the show itself. Just because, like, there was so much discourse online, just people that love the show arguing with people that are just trolling on it and absolutely hating on it. The discourse, I could not participate in either one because I would have like lost years off my life trying to either defend it or like just shit on it. But like the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing was like, people were so mad about it. And I was like, this isn't even that bad. You know? Yeah. It's like,
yeah, no, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Like I was cool with it. I guess it was fun. Again, like I think that stuff just like didn't appeal to me as much. It wasn't that I was like super hateful about it. It just wasn't like, that didn't make the episode better for me personally, but I could totally understand. Like my friends who like Megan Thee Stallion, they fucking loved that episode.
Yeah. And the creators knew, they had to know that like, oh, if we get like a 8-foot CGI model of a character just twerking on screen next to Megan Thee Stallion, we have a viral moment on our hands. You know, it's like everything feels so like curated for viral moments. I feel like that's like what this whole show is, which kind of bugs me about it. Just the fact that it's like, you know, the whole Titania thing kind of bugged because like I kind of hated that it kind of engaged with like influencer culture and all that, because that's stuff that I try to actively avoid in like real life. It's like I hate all the influencer stuff all over Instagram. I'm just like, God, leave me the fuck alone. You know?
I get that. It was in like, I don't know. It just didn't, I feel like it struggled to get momentum early on. The one episode I really liked that we haven't talked about was the therapy episode.
There was one gag in this where I laughed my ass off. When that guy finally feels comfortable to take his suit off, and then everyone's just like, off, like he smells like shit. Oh my God, damn, that sucks. But yeah, no, this was fun. What did you like about it?
Well, I just like again, my favorite parts of the show were introducing all these random ass characters that we'll probably never see again, and I'm cool with that. I don't need like an ongoing, but just introduction of F-list villains. Like ones that you've never heard of unless you are super deep in comics, and then like having them at a support like group for heroes. I thought that was a pretty funny concept.
It was. I think something else that I thought was missing from the show was like moments of sincerity, which like Hawkeye was full of, which is why I loved that show so much. But like, you know, I think Jen got to be super serious in this superhero group circle. Like she got to be serious with herself and like, I guess, accept herself or accept both versions of herself in a way, you know, which is, it's nice, wholesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was nice. That episode made me feel good. It was cool.
It's like I went to therapy. Let's see what else. You have any other positives?
Not really, because I feel like the middle part and like the beginning to the early middle part of the show was kind of forgettable for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was watching it week to week for like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then I just stopped for a couple weeks and then binged it, and then stopped for a couple weeks and binged it. So, but no, I think that pretty much kind of covers it for me. I mean, overall, my complaints weren't with the CGI. I mean, at times it kind of looked silly, but it was fine.
Yeah, I will say this. It's like that's like the big one. Like it's like already said so much that it's not even like worth like mentioning anymore. Just the bad CGI. Like it's obviously like not the best. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but like, you know, like it looks pretty tough in some areas. And
for sure.
There were just some moments too, especially when she was in the office. Like just the physics of it all, the way that the She-Hulk CGI model moves through like open spaces is just like, damn, this looks terrible. Yeah, no, like don't need to spend time on that just because it's all.
Yeah. So like, I mean, honestly, pacing wise, I wish it would have been a little bit faster paced. It honestly could have been less episodes, but more going on in them. And I feel like that it would have benefited from that. But then again, that's like every Marvel show, in my opinion. Actually move the plot forward in each episode and make it compelling. But like, you don't need to have like an 8 episode format. Or if you need more than 6, then expand to 8 or 10. But don't like half-ass it and rush the last episode.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because like, I feel like there are a couple shows already that are more than 6. Like if there are more episodes, then the length of each episode is shorter. You know?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's still kind of the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as the amount of content you get anyway.
Speaking of Glorp.
No.
Speaking of Glorpo. Let's talk about Hulk's son.
Scar?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Is it Scar?
It's Scar.
Dude, one of the worst haircuts I've ever seen. He screwed this guy, bro. What the fuck is that? Like I looked up.
I'm going to my barber. It's like, what do you want, man? Yeah, just give me the Scar. Fuck my shit up.
Fuck me up, bro. Let me get this. No, that's cool. I don't know anything about Scar. And he was literally there for like 5 seconds. He brought bro to the family picnic. Hey guys, this is my son Scar. And that's it. That's literally it. Scar doesn't even say anything. He just steps out from behind him.
Bro, MCU is on some other shit right now.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I can't wait for a serious entry. I'm really excited for Black Panther too.
Yeah.
Because some of this stuff, they're just acting brand new, dude.
Scar is Glorbo.
It's so true. Oh.
Damn. That sucks, dude.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't say something to him about his haircut in the episode.
Why didn't Jen make fun of it? Oh no. I need to try and gather myself real quick. I love how you opened that up. He's like, let's talk about Scar. Okay. Anyways, apparently, like, I guess this alludes to like a World War Hulk storyline. I don't know.
Oh, okay then.
Great. Can I see it soon?
Yeah. They're going to announce that for 2035. I can't wait to see that story.
I can't wait for World War Hulk with Scar.
Yeah, I definitely
oh man.
You know, another pro about the show is I will say I really liked Tatiana Maslany.
Yes. Yeah, she's great. She's really good in this.
I really enjoyed her. I think that she definitely makes Jin her own and also She-Hulk her own, which is cool. And I really am excited to see her in more of the MCU. I can't wait to see her interact with other characters because she's a beast. Like, her freaking Sonic clap is badass.
Like, it makes sense that the Sonic clap was actually able to take Daredevil down, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters, or just the character of Jennifer Walters, period. Like, for me, I feel kind of differently about you because, like, some of the parts that I did like were just, like, hanging out with Jen. I kind of find her to be, like, probably one of the most relatable MCU characters just because she's kind of like similar to, like, I'm 29. Like, you know, she kind of comes off as like a millennial, you know?
Yeah.
But she's like a lawyer living in LA. I mean, I live in LA. You know, it's kind of cool. That's the other thing too, is like seeing Los Angeles in a Marvel thing was pretty interesting. I mean, I know they spent some time in LA and in Captain Marvel, but they really did it all here. So I was just like, oh fuck, like She-Hulk is about to they're going to destroy the city of Los Angeles instead of New York now. This is crazy. You know,
that's awesome.
But it was just like this person going through the motions, diving into the battlefield of dating. I thought the dating bits were pretty funny. I chuckled at a lot of it just because, like, all the guys she goes out with, or even just all the guys in the show in general, are just, they're all hilarious to me. They're all just the worst idiotic dudes that you've ever met. Or they're extremely goofy. I thought that really worked for it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Tatiana Maslany, definitely a big positive. And I think that's probably the most common positive amongst all the Marvel shows, is that, like, their leads are good. The characters are fine. It's just the projects around it, the story around it just kind of doesn't match up. Oscar Isaac is Moon Knight. The show is okay, but Oscar Isaac is phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm excited to have, like, a real story to have her involved in, because it'll be fun to see that type of character plopped into, like, a, you know, apocalyptic event, an Avengers level threat.
Yeah. Are there any negatives that you want to touch on?
No.
Anything you haven't mentioned already?
Nothing really. Honestly, my negative is more that it is a show you could skip, except for maybe the last two you'd want to see in order to have, like, the rest of the story tie up with the MCU overall. But to me, that's also a positive, right? Like, you can just watch the show or not watch the show and you're not going to be behind, but it's extra stuff. And, like, if you're into it, cool.
Like, if folks, like, really like it, it's like, a lot of people say it's like their new favorite Marvel show, and I'm like, that's good. Like, I'm glad. But at the end of the day, it's like, is it really necessary for, like, the general audience member? I don't think so, because I feel like even if they do bring her back, like, in a movie in the future, I definitely feel like they will do at least, like, one or two sentences, like, explaining, like, who she is. But yeah, so I guess one or two things for me as far as the negatives are concerned. Like I mentioned earlier, like, I engaged with this show as, like, being a lawyer show and a workplace comedy. And I definitely feel like it fails more so than it succeeds at both of those things. Like, I can definitely respect that it's a comedy, but, like, all the other MCU stuff, the jokes just aren't that funny to me. And you said that earlier. Some of the stuff that I did find funny, like, I mean, we were just clowning on Scar, and it wasn't really a joke. They just brought him into the scene. You know?
They should have made a joke. See, missed opportunities, man.
Anytime they actually tried to do like a gag, I'm just kind of like, this is kind of good. You know, like I've never like the way that we just like went on about Scar, I'd never laughed at anything in the MCU that hard. You know?
Yeah, honestly, I get it.
So, so comedy kind of missed for me. And then as far as the lawyer aspects are concerned, I didn't find any of the cases all that interesting or any good for that matter.
I didn't feel like there was actually, I don't know, it didn't really necessarily feel like they were actually in court.
Maybe there are cases, I wouldn't know, but maybe there are cases like this where they're just like throwaway cases and they're literally done within like half an hour. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there definitely are, but it's like,
I think this show would have been better off if they maybe focused on like 2 really interesting cases, you know?
Yes. And I wish they would have actually hired legal writers to like make them intriguing. Like with 2 cases across like, how many episodes are in this? 10?
9.
8? 2 episodes across 9 cases, or Jesus, vice versa.
Yeah.
2 cases across 9 episodes would have been really, really interesting because they could have like written the hell out of those and had the comedy and stuff, but also had the legal aspect. Because I was actually really looking forward to that, and I feel like it was very minimal.
Like I feel like the case with Abomination and Emil Blonsky, I honestly thought that was going to be the whole thing. You know?
Yeah.
And then it just wasn't. I was like, yeah, well. But honestly, though, with this format of TV, I totally could have seen this as like a 25 episode season on like network TV, like NBC or ABC or some shit. Not that I'm saying I want 25 episodes of She-Hulk. I'm just saying like it comes off as like something like that, like a random adventure sitcom every week.
Yeah.
You tune in at like 7 p.m. on a Tuesday night or some shit. You know.
Meet Scar.
Oh, no.
He's going to be in the next episode. You can't miss it.
Don't miss Scar. Oh, man. Yeah. But anyways, one last thing on like the ultra meta fourth wall break. You know when Jen starts to say, like, she flat out says, like, all the Marvel stuff ends the same?
Yes.
Like, that is probably, like, the most, like, common critique of the MCU, right? And I'm wondering, because I know that the show kind of makes fun of a lot of its viewers, or a lot of its, maybe not fans is the right word to use, but just a lot of people that critique the show. So I'm wondering if her, like, saying, like, acknowledging this is more so making fun of the people that think that, or if it's like a genuine concern and they're like self-checking themselves on it.
Yeah, I would say the latter. I think that they have to be aware of it at this point because, you know, they're really concerned about like fatigue and burnout. So they're like, I think they're actively trying to, like the genre blending that you talked about. I think that that's their way of like trying to give stuff new flavor and like keep the MCU alive without just rehashing the same kind of like feel for every movie.
And so like, I'm mixed on it just because like, I don't know if it's like them like acknowledging that some of the stuff they always make is the same. Like, I don't know if that makes the episode any good or any better. I don't know if I would like necessarily mark it as like, oh, like it's so self-aware. Good job. You know, this is a good episode of TV because you know that like you kind of do the same shit all the time. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't know.
Honestly, on that same note though, it's like I do hope we get some movies that are very much like Winter Soldier, for example, where it's like a really serious,
miss that era.
Yeah, like really, really serious, awesome film. And like, I guess Multiverse was kind of like that, but I want something really, like, I'm really hoping Wakanda Forever is freaking awesome.
I'm hoping for it too. But okay, final thoughts. What are you giving it? What are you scoring it? Give it out of 5. Out of 5 Hulks.
Out of 5
Scar haircuts.
Out of 5 scars. Give me the old Scar. I would probably give it like 2.5. 2.5. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, for me, I'll say this just to kind of wrap it up. It has a pretty high critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. I think last I checked, it was like 86 or 87. and I couldn't disagree with it more. Like it has, it has few highs, but ultimately for me, underwhelmed. Is the first Marvel thing that I've seen where I'm like, fuck, this was a waste of time.
Yeah.
But like I'm usually in on watching things like week to week. Like I love weekly releases, but this definitely would have been better off if they dropped it all at once. I think something that could really work for it if they decide to go with a season 2 is really commit to the workplace comedy style like The Office or Abbott Elementary. Like go further in on the fourth wall breaks. Like you know, in The Office and Abbott Elementary, they like something happens and then they cut away and it's like they're interviewing the person and they're like giving their thoughts. Don't you think that would be kind of funny in She-Hulk? I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
And like well-written jokes in there would be pretty awesome.
Leaning in on the comedy, like the actual like character dialogue comedy would be great. Not just like, oh, look at this situation, this quirky situation that Jen got into.
Yeah, but also like Werewolf by Night, a special presentation would be interesting as well. Well, I don't know if you can do that with She-Hulk anymore, but I think if you want to do like more characters, I think that would be.
I like the specials. Honestly, I think that idea is great. And then it's not going to drag the whole freaking story out. You've introduced them. If you want to bring them back in something, you can either do another special or a full movie or series. It gives you more options.
But I think for me, the score out of 5 scars, I'm actually going to bump it up just a little from you. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 scars. 1.5 stars for Tatiana Maslany and 1.5 stars for Charlie Cox.
That's fair.
And that's it.
That's totally fair. I'm kind of there with you.
And that's it then. Anything else from you, Chris?
No, I just want to say thanks again for having me on. I appreciate you.
Of course, dude.
It's always a pleasure. We're gonna have you on our show over on the Geek Peak very soon to talk about Werewolf by Night, and that should be fun. We're gonna try to get that done before spooky season's over, so that we can get that out for Halloween upcoming.
For sure. Can't wait. Werewolf by Night. In short, it rips, like literally and figuratively.
It's gonna be sick.
But yeah, folks, that'll do it for episode 101. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and TikTok, as well as our other socials like Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Follow the Geek Peak Pod everywhere. Do you have any socials you want to plug?
At Geek Peak Pod, you can find us on pretty much everything. If you want to find all our links because you're having trouble, linktr.ee/geekpeak.
Cool, man. Well, again, thanks for coming on, and we will catch you guys in episode 102. So, peace.
Peace.